In today's video, I'm going to go through the entire history of the most well-known FPS game on the Roblox platform, this being Arsenal. We're going to go from its humble beginnings to its explosive rise. Join me as we dive into the long and eventful history of Roblox Arsenal. If you enjoyed this video, please to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. On August the 18th, 2015, a game on Roblox was created by the Rolve community group. It was called Gun Game, and little did the developers know, this game would become the face of FPS games on the Roblox platform. Anyway, although the game was created on August the 18th, it took until the 10th of September before the game was finally made public. The first ever update that Arsenal received was on the 12th of September. This was a very small update and it was an anti-cheat. Over the rest of 2015, the game received some other small updates like the changing of some maps and weapons and also the optimization of the game. It was overall a very small year for Arsenal, but it was significant due to the game being created on that year. "11 days after New Year's, Arsenal got its first update of 2016. This was actually quite a decent sized update, adding 4 brand new maps while removing 2 others. The 2 maps removed, however, are still unknown to this day. Adding on to that, the server size was increased to 20 players and the game name was changed to Gun Game Pre-Alpha. Throughout the rest of January, the game got some generic branding changes, and then in February, Gun Game finally left its pre-alpha stage and it entered its alpha stage of development. 12 days after this announcement, it got another update which didn't actually add anything except for changing the server sizes to 16 and just removing 4 maps. 2 of these maps had only been added just a month before this update, and also one of the removed maps actually turned out to be Sandtown, which was later to become one of the most loved and well-known maps in Arsenal's history. On April the 1st, 2016, Arsenal got its first ever April Fool's update. This included no real new content, but it did change the name of the game to Shoot Bad Guys be VIP Alpha, which the player base of Arsenal at the time found quite funny. 17 more days passed, and then on the 17th of April 2016, Arsenal got its largest update yet. It moved from its alpha to its beta stage, and not only that, but the game was now officially called Arsenal. In this update, 2 maps were added while another 2 maps were removed. Also, a leaderboard was added to the game, and skins were also added to the game. The first ever 4 skins added to the game were also added in this update for players to unlock, these being Barrett, Woods, Mobster and Soldier. This update also allowed the players to see their kills, deaths and KDR, also known as kill death rate, and the chat for the first ever time displayed when a player was on a killing streak. There were 2 other major changes which made Arsenal what it is today. Before, to level up to the next gun, you'd have to deal a certain amount of damage. This, however, in this update was changed to whenever you got a kill, your gun would level up and change. The second change was dying to a backstab or to the environment would cause you go down level, which is also a well-known part of Arsenal even 8 years later. Throughout April, May and June, Arsenal got some smaller updates. Then, between the 31st of July and August the 6th, Arsenal got some more significant changes. These included the map agency being added to the game, announcers being added to the game, players now having the ability to vote for what map they wanted to play next, players being able to vote for what team mode they wanted to play next, and this obviously came with 4 teams and auto-balancing of teams. Players now being able to see their health, players now being able to see their teammates' position, and the most significant change was now that the game was running on the Counterblox engine, in which Counterblox is another one of Rolve's games. After this update, the developers went silent and we got absolutely no new updates for the rest of the year. In January, we got a singular update. This update only adding a single map, that being Metro. Then, for another 5 months, the Arsenal developers once again went silent, giving us no news and no updates. However, on the 21st of May, something completely unexpected happened. The Rolve group was hacked, and these hackers clearly had a lot of power. However, the only thing they did was change the name of Arsenal to Shoot Time 2.3. Rolve got their group back very quickly, and the name was reverted. The developers again went silent for a month, until later, on June the 22nd, the game finally received a pretty large update. The update was called the Minor Update, and it re-added Sandtown and Safe House to the game. 2 maps were removed in place of these 2 map additions. The 2 maps that were removed were Metro and Agency. 5 new guns were also added in this update, these being the Golden Gun, the M114, the M16A1, the M1911 and also the M1917. In place, 4 guns removed from the game. There were also various other changes in this update. The player base felt like the game was back and the developers would update the game a lot more. However, they were in for a surprise. For the rest of the year, there was silence from the developers. From the deafening silence last year, the player base were hoping that the developers were going to do something big. However, again, the developers went silent and the game sat abandoned with no updates for 10 months. On November the 27th, 2018, something happened that shocked the whole Arsenal community. An update was released, and no, it wasn't a small update. In fact, it was the largest update Arsenal had ever seen. It was called the Mega Update, and the game upgraded from the Counterblocks engine to the typical Colours 2 engine. Adding on to that, 23 new weapons were added to the game. This update also introduced a brand new shop system. Taunts were also added in this update, also known as emotes. 10 new skins were added into the game and multiple maps got revamped, including the addition of a new map, this being Big Kitchen. In the next coming days, the game was improved and optimized. We also saw even more new weapons and cosmetics come to the game. 2 weeks later, another huge update came to Arsenal. It was called the 2.1 update and it introduced a total of 14 new skins, which was an all-time record for one update to the game. Another 8 badges, a brand new map voting system and also a brand new team voting system were also added in this update. Some smaller changes also took place in this update. Throughout the rest of the year, the game received some other smaller updates, and the final update of the year was mobile support. Throughout the entire of 2019, Arsenal saw 87 updates come to the game, which absolutely demolished previous update records for Arsenal. Also, at this point, the game was beginning to hit 10,000 players, and it was Roblox's most popular FPS game, which likely gave the developers even more motivation to work on the game. On the 11th of January, the game got the Brick Battle update, which was a pretty large update. It introduced the Brick Battle game mode and 6 Brick Battle exclusive weapons. It also added 5 Brick Battle exclusive maps. Adding on to that, it introduced 8 new maps, these being Anarchist, Brick Battle, Broadcaster, Contractor, Luchador, Trainer, Trooper and Veteran. It also introduced the well-known and also very controversial Megaphone. 3 announcers were added in this update and 9 kill effects were also added. It also introduced the well-known and loved crate system and item rarities. Rolf seemed to be putting a lot of effort into the game and people were loving it. This was only proven 2 days later when another update was released and this added 5 new weapons. The developers didn't stop there, as 2 days later passed and an entire 3 new maps were added again. A few days passed and it was the 29th of January and again another huge update dropped, known as the 2.3 update. It added another 5 new weapons to the game, including the AKM, Pepper Gun, Pump Shotgun, M16A1 and Spencer Carbine. This update also added 2 new skins, 1 new announcer and also did some other significant changes. Another day passed and another update came, known as the 2.4 update, which included some large bug fixes. Over the next few weeks, some smaller updates were released to the game, including the addition of the Automatics game mode. A bit of time passed and it was the 14th of February and once again Rolf were absolutely pushing these updates like crazy, as the 2.5 update was released to the game. This added the well-known map Boulevard. It also added 2 new taunts, a brand new shop UI, 2 new game modes, these being pistols and kills confirmed, where in kill confirmed you had to collect stars to obtain points for your team. There were also other optimization changes and the rebalancing of weapons. The more updates Arsenal got, the higher the player count kept rising. Some other smaller updates were released in the coming days, and then only 13 days after update 2.5 came update 2.6. This update added 2 new weapons, 2 new maps, 5 new skins, 4 new kill effects, 3 new melees, and also it introduced a code system to Arsenal. Adding on to that, it added the first ever code in Arsenal, that being ROLV in all capitals and the O being replaced with a 0. Over the next month, a few updates came to the game, which added new weapons and various bug fixes. Then April Fools came round and the April Fools update was changing bullet holes to ducks. Throughout April, the developers utilised the brand new code system by adding 2 new codes to the game. Then on April the 18th, the Arsenal developers got to collaborate with Roblox for an update. This update to Arsenal was made for the Egg Hunt 2019 Scrambled in Time event. The update to Arsenal Arsenal added 2 new guns, 3 new badges, and it also added the first ever boss fight to Arsenal. The boss was called Cluckling, and it was a chicken boss, obviously based around Easter. Around this point, a few familiar faces began to pop up in Arsenal. For example, John Roblox began to make content on Arsenal. Then, just 2 months after the Egg Hunt update, the developers of Rolve dropped Arsenal's largest update yet. This was the first ever summer update. It added 11 new weapons to the game, these being the Concussion Rifle, Gallico, FN FAU, G11, M60, MAT 49, Mosin Nagant, Mossberg 500, Scar H, Sten, and the Webley. This update also added 3 new maps, 11 new skins, 4 new melees, 4 new kill effects, 2 new taunts, 9 new badges, 1 new game mode, and it allowed for Arsenal players to customize their own VIP server by allowing them to pick game modes, maps, kick players, etc. The update also added a new code, a vote kicking system, which was removed on the same day due to abuse, and also added events, in which it also added the first ever event called the Summer Bash. Throughout the next few days, the update was refined and improved. Eventually, on July the 3rd, the Summer Bash event came to a close. However, just 2 days later, a brand new Arsenal update was released once again. It added 11 new skins, 2 new kill effects, 8 new weapons, 1 new melee, 1 new map, and it also added the Independence Jam event to Arsenal. Some other smaller changes were also made in this update. Throughout August, the game received updates, however they weren't too significant. Either way, the game was still growing in popularity and people were really seeming to enjoy the game. It was eventually the 28th of September and Rolve dropped an update called the September update. It was quite a large update, adding 4 new weapons, 2 new taunts, 1 new kill effect, 1 new map, 7 new skins, 2 new melees, and 10 new badges. People thought this was a pretty big update, however little do they know, the next update would be huge compared to this one. It's the 24th of October and it's approaching Halloween. Then Rolve announced that they've just dropped a huge update, this being the Halloween update, which was also known as the 3.0 update. It added 6 new weapons, 28 new skins, which was again a new record for Arsenal, 8 new kill effects, 6 new melees, 3 new taunts, 7 new unusuals, 2 new maps, 5 new game modes, once again a record, some new codes, some new skin revamps, and also the Halloween Harbour Dash event. Everyone was really happy with this update, however 1 day later, Rolve added an extra 10 kill effects onto the update. Then 3 more days passed and they dropped another 2 melees onto the update. Overall, it was an absolutely huge update and it was taken really well by the community and player base. Also, by this point, Arsenal was averaging 30,000 players, which was huge for Arsenal. Just around a month later, Arsenal dropped another pretty large update, this being the anniversary update, also known as the 3.1 update. This added another 3 weapons, 1 new map called Luna, which was used for the brand new arcade game mode, where weapons would be on the floor and you pick them up and you choose the weapon which you want to fight with. There were also 3 new skins added, 2 new kill effects, and 1 new unusual. Also, a large amount of balancing changes took place in this update. By this point, Arsenal was getting near to monthly updates and the community were loving it. It was eventually the 14th of December and Arsenal released their Christmas update, and it turns out that there would be multiple parts to this update, as it was called Christmas Update Part 1. This update also added 3 holiday variants of maps, 5 new skins, 1 new map, 4 new kill effects, 4 new melees, and it also added the first ever Arsenal advent calendar. 6 days passed and the Christmas Update Part 2 was released. This added a brand new Holiday Havoc event to Arsenal, along with 23 new skins, 2 new taunts, 6 new melees, 10 new kill effects, and 1 new announcer. Throughout 2019, the player count rose from 10,000 to 30,000, and the game was becoming well known throughout Roblox. Some people consider 2020 as the greatest year for Arsenal. It grew so much throughout 2020 and it had some of the best updates ever. Also, by this point, almost every well-known Arsenal content creator was now making content on the game, these being Tanker, John Roblox, Bandites, Chase Rooney, and others. Then, in around March of 2020, a virus began to spread around the world, rapidly sending a huge amount of countries into a state of lockdown. This trapped people in their homes with nothing to do. For lots of people, gaming became a comfort and a way to connect with each other. This brought people to Arsenal, and because of these events, the player count rose from 30,000 to 50,000. Throughout January to early June, the game received some small updates that kept people playing. On the 21st of March, Arsenal won the Bloxy Awards, and in turn, this motivated the developers a lot to continue to push Arsenal to its limits. On the 20th of June, the Summer Update 2 was released. This update was really hyped up, and it definitely lived up to its expectations. It added a total of 9 new weapons, these being the dual shotguns, the G36, the lightning cannon, the literal gun, the origami gun, the pocket potassium, the sunflower sun, the water balloon, and the paintball gun. 2 new maps were also added, 5 new maps were revamped, 24 new skins, 9 new melees, 19 new kill effects, 2 new taunts, 2 new bundles, and a brand new battle pass were added to the game. It was overall a really huge update, and it was really well received by both the community in general and also the content creators. Throughout July and August, the game received some other smaller updates. On September the 29th, a very loved update came to Arsenal. It was called the Cipher update, and it included quite a few new things. It included a Halloween countdown, in which people were really hyped to see what would be added on that day. The update also added 7 new guns, which almost all of them were really well liked by the community. These guns were the Falcon, Laser Rifle, Vector, BH-10, Focus, Pulse Musket and the Pathbringer. It also added 2 new maps, these being Rolf Station and also Matrix being one of the most loved maps in the entire of Arsenal. Adding on to that, it added 11 new skins, 2 new kill effects, 2 new melees, 2 new weapon skins and 1 new emote. Although it was mostly a cosmetic update, it was really loved by the community. On the 25th of October, just one day before the countdown ended, the game got a huge bug fix update. This was likely to add all of the new features silently to the game in preparation for the event. It was eventually the 26th of October, and Arsenal was at 100,000 players, an all-time high for the game. Loads of streamers were waiting for the event, along with the Arsenal content creators and even some non-Arsenal content creators. Eventually, the timer hit 0 and every Arsenal game ended. Then everyone was put into a game mode called Hackula. The game mode started off with normal Arsenal, but people got power-ups. After that, they would be put in a boss fight. It was the best boss fight Arsenal players had ever seen. Basically, random power-ups took place and the boss had health that adjusted to however many people were there. There was a custom map for the boss fight, and there were loads of different attacks that the boss could do. Upon beating Hackula, players would be rewarded with the Hackula skin. Also in this update, there were 28 new skins, 8 new melees, 5 new taunts, 3 new maps, 6 new kill effects, 10 new weapon skins, 2 updated maps and 2 re-added maps. This was by far Arsenal's most well-received update, and it was just really enjoyed by the entire of the Roblox community. New maps and other changes were added over the coming days. After a while, on the 20th of November, all the Halloween content was removed from Arsenal. However, things like Hackula were still available in the VIP servers for players to use. A month later, on the 13th of December, the Christmas Update Part 1 was released. It added 5 new skins, 6 new maps, 2 new taunts, 1 new kill effect, and 2 new melees. This was overall a decent update, however it did not have too much content. Over the days when people were waiting for part 2 of the update, there were a few other smaller updates. Eventually, on Christmas Eve, the part 2 of the update was finally released. It added 6 new weapons, 1 new map, added Dust Storm to public rotation, added 14 new skins, added 13 new unusuals, added 3 new melees, added 10 new weapon skins, added 1 new kill effect, and it also added 1 new announcer. Overall, it wasn't an absolutely huge update, but it was a well-sized update, and it was received quite well from the community. 2020 was by far the craziest year for Arsenal in terms of updates, growth and player happiness. 2021 was a tough year for Arsenal. Lots of people consider 2021 the year that Arsenal's downfall begun. On New Year's Day, Arsenal got an update called the Post-Christmas Update 2. It wasn't too large of an update, however players were quite happy to get an update immediately after the new year. The update added 2 new melees, 2 new kill effects, 3 new taunts, 1 new unusual and some other smaller changes. Throughout the rest of January, Arsenal received some other smaller updates consisting of mainly bug fixes. Then, on the 3rd of February, Arsenal got a brand new update which introduced a really new cool event. This was the Slaughter event, and it was extremely well received. It added 5 new skins, 1 new map and 1 new game mode. It was the first kind of event that had its own separate custom mode with custom objectives. Over the next coming weeks, again there were some smaller updates. Because of the Slaughter event, Rolf didn't need to focus too hard on getting updates quickly, as there were loads of content inside the Slaughter event. On March the 16th, Rolf collaborated with Prime Gaming for the first ever time, and this would not be the last time they collaborate. In this collaboration, 1 new skin, map and badge were added to the game. There are also other various bug fixes and changes to the game. It was eventually April the 1st, and as always, Arsenal released a brand new April Fool's update. Previously, a lot of people inside the Arsenal community really wanted Orange Team, and so in this update, Rolf gave every single person in Arsenal Purple Team. Adding on to that, the shop was changed to have the monkey skin and Delinquent with no brim, each costing 1 billion and 1 million battle bucks each. 2 codes were also added to the game on this day, and later in the same day, the monkey skin was replaced with the Ace Pilot skin, and the price of the Delinquent with no brim decreased to 60,000 battle bucks. Then on the 2nd of April, Purple Team was once again locked to moderate as friends and developers of the game. 22 days later, and it was the 24th of April, an Arsenal tournament took place. It was called ACT Season 4. Arsenal actually received an update for this tournament, and a new code was added to the game. Eventually, it was made the 21st, and a brand new update came to Arsenal. It was called the Mr. Monkey event. It added 3 rewards for collecting bananas around the map. These could also be redeemed in the shop. The 3 rewards were the Monkey Fan skin, the Banana Melee, and the Banana Skill Effect. There was also a 4th item in the shop, however it was a mystery. This hyped up a lot of people, as people felt like the 4th item in the shop would be the Monkey skin. 5 days later, the mystery item was revealed. People were disappointed to find out that it was a Monkey plushie unusual and not the Monkey skin. A day later, a brand new Arsenal update was released, and it was the Funky Friday update, and it added a brand new bundle to Arsenal. This update contained 2 codes, 2 new skins, 1 kill effect, 1 new taunt, and 1 new unusual. Over the next few days, 9 new codes were added to the game, giving players different things including battle bucks and other cosmetics. Some content creators, however, were not happy with the content being added to the game, and so they began to quit. However, the developers tried to keep their player base playing by releasing some spoilers of new Arsenal updates. Some of these included a custom map builder and even destruction physics inside of Arsenal. Eventually, July the 6th rolled around, and with it came the summer update 2. Everyone was extremely hyped, however they were shortly after disappointed by the update. The update had a load of new things, however it was missing the key things that were promised. Both the map builder and the destruction physics were missing from this update. However, it did contain quite a few new things. It included 11 new weapons, however it did also include the golden bomb and golden bow, both weapons hated by the community still to this day. It included 4 new maps, 13 new skins, 22 new melees, 13 new kill effects, 6 new taunts, 4 new unusuals, 4 new game modes, and some weapon changes and revamps. Adding on to that, a vote kicking feature was added, a brand new team for content creators was added, that being Orange Team, the content creator panel was added, extra gamers were added, an ELO competitive 1v1 game mode was added, and the randomizer game mode was reworked and revamped. Overall, it was a huge update, however this was overshadowed by the fact that it was missing a load of features, and it felt like ages since the last Arsenal update. Also, although the developers added new tools for the content creators to use, they were too late, as most of the content creators by this point had already quit and changed games, and this therefore meant that these new tools went mostly unused. Also, new game modes like hard mode were really hated, and Monkey Business had very mixed opinions. Adding on to that, the new ELO competitive 1v1 game mode was extremely broken and unfinished. Over time, the competitive ELO 1v1 game mode was refined and improved, however by this point people had already stopped playing it. Eventually, on the 31st of July, the post-summer update 3 was released. It added 12 new skins, and it also did some other changes. It was overall an extremely small update. Throughout August and September, there were very small and few updates made to the game. By this point, basically all of the main Arsenal content creators had quit the game and didn't seem to be returning. Adding on to that, by this point most countries were leaving lockdowns. This had a significant impact on the player count, the player count now being at 30,000. However, Rolve released a load of leaks for the next Halloween update, and it looked really good. Eventually, it was the 28th of October, and this was the planned release date for the update. They just had to patch a few things up. However, disaster struck. Roblox began to experience issues which held the developers back from releasing the update. The issues on Roblox got significantly worse over time, going from just missing avatars to the game not loading at all. Eventually, Arsenal's player count dropped to 0, and then Roblox's player count dropped to 0 as they switched the website to a placeholder image while Roblox entered maintenance. After 60 hours of silence from Roblox, it began to reopen to a few players. After another 15 hours, Roblox fully reopened and the Arsenal player count was back up to 30,000. The hype of the Halloween update kept building and the game hit 50,000 players. Eventually, the Halloween Update 3 released, however it was met with heavy criticism. For the second time in a row, the Arsenal developers had promised things that they couldn't deliver. This time, however, it wasn't their fault. Due to the Roblox outage, the developers couldn't work on the update, and so therefore a load of features they wanted to add had to be scrapped and couldn't be added. The update was planned to have a soul rifle and also expected to have a pirate ship sort of game mode, however both of these weren't added. It's been said by Zone, however, that these are planned to be repurposed, however we still don't know when or how to this day. Anyway, the update did add new weapons, 4 new maps, although most of these were reskins of current maps, and these were mostly exclusive to VIP servers, 38 new skins, 6 new melees, 3 new kill effects, 1 new taunt, 1 new answer, 24 new unusuals, 4 new game modes including Hackula DX, which was the harder version of Hackula, 3 new weapon skins, 3 new codes, a new boss fight music, vote kicking again, the server browser which allowed you to pick game modes and maps that you wanted to play, a Halloween shop, and a ticket system. Overall, a lot of people were really disappointed with this update as it missed a lot of things that were expected to be in this update. However, this was not the fault of the developers, but rather it was the fault of the Roblox outage. Around a month passed and the winter update part 1 came out. It added 5 new skins, 1 new map which was VIP exclusive, 1 new melee, 18 new kill effects, 1 new taunt, 2 new calling cards, a no textures option which was quite broken at the start, which did annoy a lot of the community, and also an advent calendar in which it was 25 days long rather than the usual 12 days. It was overall a decent update. The part 2 of the update released 20 days later, adding 13 new skins, 4 new kill effects, 2 new calling cards, 1 new game mode, that being Snowball Fight, rolled route perks, and also a new feature called Victory Themes. Along with this update came 9 new victory themes that players could unlock. Adding on to that, an in-game update log was added to the game. It wasn't too exciting of an update, but it was decently received by the community. One day later, the developers began to hype up the community again with a sort of hunting type of event. The developers placed very tiny buttons around 3 maps, these being Beach, Cache, and Villa. Another day passed, and then the developers announced that the first 1,000 players to find these buttons around these maps would be able to obtain the following melees: the Firebrand, LEMMiNO, and Venom Shank. Eventually, all 1,000 copies of each melee were obtained. Later, on the 26th of December, the Bishop of Time bundle was given to all of the players that had claimed all 25 prizes inside the Arsenal Advent calendar. Then, it was New Year's Eve and Arsenal released the New Year's event. Players could join the event 10 minutes before New Year's in their time zone. The event took place on the City Square map, and a ball was placed in the centre of the map. When it turned to 2022, the ball would hit the bottom and the players would be rewarded with an unusual on their current character. That was the end of 2021. Overall, this was quite a mixed year for Arsenal. On the 1st of January, a new bundle was added to Arsenal, in which this was given to players through collecting all 5 presents inside the Sneaky Santa quest. However, little did people know, on the exact same day, Zone secretly added a new melee to the game. This was the Night's Edge melee. 4 days later, one of Arsenal's most well-known events started, this being the Night's End event. The first hint to this event was entering the code Wake Up. When users enter this code, they'll be teleported to an Arsenal map called Snowy Bridge. Inside of the waterfall was a door with words saying, "He will soon arise." On the 26th of January, the code was changed to the user's Roblox user ID backwards. Adding on to that, the user had to equip the Delinquent skin to now proceed with the event. Another step was also released on this day. Basically, users had to enter the waterfall and enter the code red, blue, green, green, red, blue. This would then lead them to a hallway which would allow the user to also enter a large green bush maze. The day after, the ability to obtain every developer melee was added. Arsenal players kept grinding for these melees. While users hunted for these melees, the hunt for the Night's Edge melee continued. On the 2nd of February, another step was revealed. Then, 12 days later, the Valentine's Update 2 was added to the game. It added 2 new weapons, 1 new skin, 1 new melee, 1 new kill effect, 1 new taunt, 1 new cooling card, and 4 new unusuals. Although the cosmetic changes were small, this update included the Travelling Hearts event, which was a loved event by the players. Also, Arsenal was gaining back players quickly from the variety of updates and events, and so the game was back up to 50,000 players. However, the OG content creators didn't seem to be returning, so to maintain this player count, the developers would have to keep pushing out these insane updates. Just 1 month after the Valentine's update, another new update was released to the game. This was the Sainthood update, and once again, this update was really loved by the community. It added 3 new weapons, 1 new skin, 2 new melees, 1 new kill effect, 4 new taunts, 3 new unusuals, 1 new weapon skin, 1 new cooling card, and 1 new game mode. This game mode was the staple of this update, it being Bombfest. This game mode was completely different to all of the game modes in Arsenal. You basically had to throw a bomb into a hoop and there were 2 teams. It was very much enjoyed by the entire Arsenal community. Throughout the rest of March, some other new things were added to Arsenal. Then it was April Fool's Day, and once again, the developers released another April Fool's update to the game. A new skin was added to the game, this being Oscar, and the name and the icon on the game were also changed. Overall, it was a pretty small update, but either way, it was still a nice update. On the 13th of April, Arsenal got some of its biggest news ever. The day started off with Arsenal collaborating with Prime Gaming once again. Another new bundle was added to the game. Then, Zone and Blue went onto the Amazon Prime Gaming Twitch livestream. They announced during that stream something insane. It shocked the whole community. Arsenal was going to be revamped and remade. They would call it Arsenal Reloaded. This would mean that the entire game would be rewritten from the ground up, and after 4 years of running on the typical Colours 2 engine, it would now run on the brand new A2 engine. During the stream, the developers provided some spoilers and leaks as to Arsenal Reloaded's concept UI. Adding on to that, after the stream, Midnight Crystal posted some more leaks the Arsenal Discord. 3 days later, Zone made a Trello board which basically explained how Arsenal Reloaded was going to be made. Adding on to that, it gave the Arsenal community information on how the update would be added to the game. On April the 20th, Arsenal added a brand new April Fool's shop. It introduced 3 skins, these being Delinquent That's Cool, Monkey with Drip, and Tomfoolery Delinquent. It also included 2 melees, these being the Night's Edge and the Dark Heart. Finally, it also had 3 kill effects, these being British, Gold, and Portal. A few days passed, and on May the 1st, an unnamed update was released which added 12 new skins and 2 new melees. melees. While the developers were working on Arsenal Reloaded, they had very little time to work on live Arsenal, and so to keep the players excited throughout May, they posted a few new codes which were secretly dropped to reward players with some items. On May the 20th, Arsenal players got to see a part of Arsenal Reloaded for the first time ever, this being a map revamp. It was called Sandtown Reloaded, and it kept the basic look of Sandtown while adding a few new things. It had some mixed opinions from the community, but in the end it wasn't a huge change and the players just needed to adjust to the map. Over the first few days in June, some more Arsenal Reloaded maps were added to the VIP servers for players to mess around with and experiment with. On the 20th of June, the largest paid bundle inside of Arsenal was released. It was called the Nexus Bundle and it included 4 new skins, which were the Nexus Katsu, Nexus Jackson, Nexus Jen, and Nexus Nez skins. It included 8 new melees, these being Leader's Axe, Rebel's Bat, Rocken's Pipe, Stranger's Handblades, Makeshift Axe, Rusty Pipe, and Wired Bat. It had 4 new taunts, these being Chilling Out, Extreme Power, Firestorm, and Stoic Pillars, and it also had 1 new calling card, this being Nexus. It was a huge bundle, and so for those who bought it, they all seemed to love it. On the 31st of July, all the Arsenal Reloaded maps were removed from VIP servers. In the coming days, we got constant leaks about Reloaded, which did keep the community hyped and excited. However, live Arsenal wasn't getting any updates, and so therefore the player count was dropping to numbers as low as 15,000. We got silence throughout August and September. However, on October the 12th, Arsenal players got some news about Arsenal Reloaded, and it was the release date of the alpha testing. It was planned to take place on the 15th of October, and obviously this really hyped up the community. 3 days later, it was released for testing, and well, the community had some very mixed reactions to say the least. Overall, the community seemed to be most positive about the main menu UI. However, the in-game UI was met with heavy criticism. Adding on to that, the gunplay was mixed, with some people liking it and some people hating it. The level of customization, however, was met with some positivity. There was one major thing that people were disappointed in. The developers had said time and time again that the anti-cheat would be significantly better than live Arsenal. However, in just 2 hours, exploiters had managed to break through the anti-cheat and they had made all sorts of exploits. There was one thing that almost the entire of the Arsenal community forgot, however. It was an alpha test. A week after testing opened, it closed again. After that, news about Reloaded stopped. On the 24th of October, an update was made to Arsenal, that being the Halloween update 4 Part 1 update. It re-added 2 maps, re-added 2 game modes, and made some other smaller changes. It was overall a really disappointing update, adding basically nothing new. Players were just hoping that the Part 2 would be good. And so, players waited, and waited, and waited. It was much past Halloween by this point. In fact, it was 24 days after Halloween. Then the developers released the Halloween update for Part 2. It added 12 new skins, 7 new melees, and 3 new calling cards. Not only was this a pretty small update, but it was also 24 days late, which was just ridiculous. The Arsenal players were not happy and they began to lose hope in the game. 2 days later, however, a highly anticipated feature was added to Arsenal, this being 24/7 servers. It allowed players to keep playing the exact same game mode for as long as they wanted. However, it was annoying for a few players as it didn't allow you to gain the same amount of XP that normal servers gave you, basically just making you punish yourself if you even played in them. Eventually, on the 13th of December, the Winterfest update Part 1 was released. It introduced another 12-day advent calendar containing new things like 6 new skins, 1 new kill effect, 1 new taunt, 2 new weapon skins, 2 new calling cards, and 1 new victory theme. Overall, the advent calendar was fine, however some people received placeholders rather than the actual reward that they were meant to receive. However, on the 15th of December, the Arsenal community got an early Christmas present. RB Battle Season 3 came to Arsenal. The 2 competitors were actually former Arsenal YouTubers, these being Tanker and Bandites. Overall, it was really enjoyable for everyone to watch. Adding on to that, it introduced the shooting challenge to Arsenal. Because of these changes, Arsenal's player count rose to 40,000 once again. Adding on to that, the 3rd step for the Night's Edge melee was released. Players could enter the code FATE and they would be teleported to a new place where they could find their fate code. This would be needed later for players to obtain the Night's Edge melee. 2 days later, the Winterfest Part 2 update was released. It added 1 new weapon, changed the model of 3 weapons, changed the animation of 5 weapons, added 12 new skins, added 3 new maps, added 5 new weapon skins, added 5 new calling cards, and it also removed the in-game update log. Overall, it was a mixed update due to some changes that people didn't like too much. However, on the 27th of December, the Night's End event was finally complete. Players could now obtain the Night's Edge melee. Adding on to that, the code was adjusted to get to the event. Now, all you needed to do was enter your Roblox user ID. That was all for 2024. Overall, it was quite a mixed year for Arsenal. It for sure had its ups and downs. It was 2023 and Arsenal players had near to no news about Arsenal Reloaded ever since the first alpha test. The players were beginning to grow tired of the silence. Throughout January, no significant updates or news came to Arsenal. Eventually it was February and the Valentine's Update 3 came out. It only added 3 new kill effects and 1 new weapon skin. It also reused last year's Travelling Hearts event, which really disappointed Arsenal players. Another month passed and eventually it was March the 3rd. Sainthood Update 2 was released. It only added one new skin. It was overall an extremely disappointing update for most of the community, however I actually enjoyed it since I was happy to have the Bombfest game mode back. 7 days later, Arsenal got a real update that actually added content, called the RETROPALOOZA update. It was a pretty well received update and it did make up for the lack of updates in content. It added 12 new skins, 5 new weapon skins, 11 new cooling cards, 4 new badges, added the brick battle game mode to public rotation, added an update log, and introduced a new in-game event. On April the 1st, the April Fool's Update 4 released and the RETROPALOOZA event ended and a new bundle was added to the game. Adding on to that, 2 new skins were added and the Delinquent and Roblox were changed to have a troll item on their face. The daily shop also changed to include 7 skins, these being Admin, Dumonkey, Monkey, Non-Existy, Shark, Tomfoolery, Delinquent, and the Tomfoolery Rabble-Rouser. Adding on to that, 2 melees were in the shop, these being Night's Edge and Darkheart. Finally, 1 new kill effect was in the shop, this being Gold. Adding on to that, on free-for-all, all players would have Orange Team rather than being given a different colour, and on 2 to 4 teams, there was a 20% chance that Blue Team would be replaced by Rainbow Team. This was overall a really fun and well-received update. The day after, another update was released that added a feature called Enemy Outlines. This feature is a key part to aiming in Arsenal in this day. 4 days after this, another update was released at Arsenal. This was the Easter Update Part 1. It added 11 new skins and 1 new kill effect. It also re-added Hype Fights to public rotation and also Boulevard. Hype Fights was re-added for the new Citrus quest and Boulevard was re-added for the new Prologue quest. The 2 quests that were added and the Easter update in general gave players a lot to do and the content was just really fun to mess around with. Then on April the 9th, the Easter update part 2 came out. It added 1 new code, a new item kit system that allowed you to equip unusuals to any skin or any cooling card of your choice. The update also added 5 new melees, 1 new taunt, 4 new unusuals, 5 new unusual kits, 4 new weapon skins and 6 new cooling cards. On the same day, we finally got some news about Arsenal Reloaded. Zono posted a video to his YouTube channel discussing the future of Arsenal Reloaded. He said about how he had let Arsenal die due to the lack of updates to the live game. Adding on to that, he also talked about how he let the hype die down due to the fact that the developers did not expect Arsenal Reloaded to take so long. He also talked about how he thought that the alpha testing had very little bugs, however when testing released, he realised a huge amount of bugs. In the end, he talked about how this really affected his and the other Arsenal developers' mental health. He then talked about how he was going to change the way that Arsenal Reloaded released. He said that he was going to work on live Arsenal and port Arsenal Reloaded to the main game. The day after all of this, we got the Smug Egg bundle. Throughout May and early June, there were very little updates to Arsenal. Then, on the 23rd of June, the update of all time released. However, to many, the name did not represent the update. It added 12 new skins, 1 new weapon, 3 new maps, 2 map revamps, and 3 new game modes. People were mainly disappointed about the way of obtaining the skins. Previously, the game had seen events, however this time it was just obtained through a random crate. Adding on to that, the maps were not liked by the community. For example, Ruins was way too large, and as for Assaulto, it was a remake of Assault, however it just didn't play like Assault and they didn't like it. On the 4th of July, Rolve collaborated with the web browser OperaGX to release a bundle. This update included 1 new skin, 1 new melee, 1 new kill effect, 1 new unusual, 2 new weapon skins, 2 new cooling cards, 2 new item kits, and also a holographic effect. 3 days later, a huge drama took place in the Arsenal community. A content creator was banned by the Arsenal developers for taking advantage of an exploit to give users the OperaGX bundle, even if they hadn't downloaded OperaGX. However, this turned out to be a brilliant decision by the developers, as eventually this Arsenal content creator quit and they were later exposed for numerous things. The Arsenal developers went silent after this, giving almost no updates and no news on the game. Then it was the 28th of October and out of nowhere Rolve dropped an update for Arsenal, this being called the Frights in the Night update. It was an extremely well received update in the community. It added 6 new skins, added 5 new maps, changed 4 maps, added 6 new melees, 6 new unusuals, 5 new weapon skins, 2 new cooling cards and added 13 new item kits. All of the cosmetics were earned for a brand new currency also added in this update called Molars. The update overall felt really refreshing for the entire Arsenal community. We got a few patches for the next few weeks and eventually on December the 14th we got the Christmas update 5. It added a 12-day advent calendar including 2 new skins, 2 kill effects, 2 weapon skins and 3 new cooling cards. In this update, gift crates were also re-added to the game. These would give every single player in a server a random skin with a 10% chance of it having an unusual on it. Overall, the Arsenal community had mixed opinions on 2023 and Arsenal Reloaded had become quite a mystery at this point. It was now 2024. Out of nowhere, the Rolve YouTube channel released a video. It featured a new gun. People expected that this update would just be a singular new gun. However, they were about to be surprised. A singular day passed and it was the 2nd of January. The new Galactic Assault update released and it was huge. It was also very well received. The update added a new battle pass called the Galactic Pass. It also introduced 2 new weapons, 12 new skins, 2 new game modes, 4 new maps, 6 new melees, 2 new kill effects, 3 new taunts, 6 new unusuals, 5 new badge, 5 new weapon skins, 6 new calling cards, 6 new item kits, and the Baker's Dozen quest. Everyone seemed to really enjoy this update. Some time passed without updates, and then on the 15th of March, Roblox did an event called The Hunt. Arsenal was one of the games that was going to join, and they made an event called Operation Infiltration. It was a quest-like event that was like a campaign mode. You had to breach into a server room, and then you had to escape. The event was really well made, and it was also extremely well received. It is by far one of the best things Arsenal has ever created. Another 2 months passed, and Roblox did another event called The Classic, and once again Arsenal was involved. They released an event called New Apocalypse, and the game hit a peak of 50,000 players. It introduced 10 new weapons, 4 new skins, and overall the event was pretty well received. However, on the first day it did get 1,500 more dislikes than likes. The first time in Arsenal history there are more dislikes than likes in a single day. On April the 30th, Arsenal Reloaded beta testing begun. However, the Arsenal community disliked it more than Arsenal Reloaded alpha testing. Overall, it needs some serious refining. There were no more significant updates until July, and eventually 2 Arsenal content creators decided to quit the game, these being 8st and Grainy Dev. Then, literally the next day, a new Arsenal update released. This was the Ocean Day update, and it had very mixed reactions inside the Arsenal community. A lot of players saw it as a lower quality version of the Galactic Assault update. It used the same battle pass system, and it added 3 new weapons, 6 new skins, 3 new melees, and 2 new taunts. Users also had mixed reactions, however, because lots of people were happy that maps like Street Corner had returned. Eventually, August the 1st came around and Roblox released the game's event. Again, Arsenal in turn released an update, and the event was called the Arsenal Rogue update. It was by far the best received Arsenal update in history, with lots of people crediting its creativity. It was a game show-like event where you had to go through different rooms and floors and fight enemies. Adding on to that, in the end, there was a boss fight in which players hadn't seen anything like it since Hackula. So that's all. Arsenal has had a long and action-packed history filled with successes and failure. The future holds a lot of potential for Arsenal. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Have an amazing day, guys, and goodbye.